Hello and welcome to this walkthrough for recruiting and onboarding. My name is Christina and today I will be showing you the area of recruiting and onboarding inside our HR solution and take you through the most common processes we have there. Let's have a look at today's agenda. First, we would like to have a look at the complete recruiting process. I can show you the full process our HR solution covers, everything from hire to retire in your employee's life cycle. After that, we will have a closer look at the sub-processes that are a part of this. First, we will see the publishing process. If a new position is needed, you will be able to create job profiles and publish your vacancies based on these. I will also show you our talent search functionality, which may enable you to find talents inside your company, so you wouldn't even have to publish a vacancy and can hire someone straight away. As the next sub-process, we will have a look at receiving applications phase. After you put out your vacancy and people are applying for the position, you can use CV parsing to easily get every data you need into the system, review applications, and invite candidates. The next sub-process is the hiring process of new candidates. If you have decided on someone you would like to hire, you can create an employment term offer for them easily with just a few clicks and hire a candidate. We will also have a look at the sub-process related to labor relations in case you need approval from a work council or would like to collect feedback during the recruiting phase by a line manager. You can also do that inside the HR solution easily, and I will show you how. Finally, after you have hired your desired candidate, we will also have a look at the onboarding process covered by our HR solution, because we have structured onboarding templates which ensure a smooth start for your new employee. Let's get started. Before we have a look at our HR solution directly, let me walk you through the whole recruiting process. Our HR solution covers everything from hire to retire, and I want to give you a quick overview of the most common processes so you can know what to expect from our HR solution. As you can see, the whole process covers many areas and is helpful to many people. Firstly, for the HR manager who will request the recruiter to recruit for an open position that comes up. The recruiter can review this position inside the HR solution and create a job profile for their needs. They can also search the talent pool then to see if maybe they already have had a contact to a talent who fits the criteria they are looking for. And if they do not have somebody yet in their talent pool who they can hire right away, they can create a vacancy and start publishing with just a few clicks. The applicant can see the vacancy, submit their application, and that application is sent straight back to the recruiter, who can then with just one click parse the CV of that applicant to add all information to the system, screen the candidate to see if they are a good fit for the position, and send details and information on possible interview appointments and so on to the supervisor who will be the boss of that employee. The recruiter can then schedule and perform the interviews, and if the candidate is a good fit and agrees to take the position, the recruiter can create, send, and sign an offer for an employment term for that candidate. Once they are hired, the HR manager who requested the position gets a new employee, and everyone is happy. There are a few points in there where you can save a lot of time compared to regular HR processes. For example, publishing the vacancy is very easy. Once you have created a job profile, you can create a vacancy based on that, and publishing the vacancy is done in just a few clicks. So it only takes you a couple of minutes compared to the hours upon hours you usually take for that. Also, if you use our recruiting portal, submitting an application is really easy for the applicant. They can just fill a bit of information on a couple of pages, attach their CV, send it in, and they are done. The whole application process takes just a couple of minutes. Also, at the end, if you hire a candidate, the data is transferred to the system very quickly because you already have the applicant's data inside the system while they are an applicant. So once you click on the button to hire them, all of the data you already have on them is transferred from an applicant data to an employee data. So you do not even have to add any new data for that employee at this point because you already have everything. Let's have a look at the system next. So here you can see the HR solution from the inside. As you can see, we are inside the area HR Hub, which is the main area where you will be doing all your work as an HR manager. This is the first page you start out on after opening the HR solution in Standard. A number of interactive dashboards are available to you here, which show you all of the important recruiting information at one glance. By selecting this little drop down, you can also switch between different views depending on what exactly you are interested in at the moment. Here on the side, you see a long menu of all of the things you can do, and we will cover some of that right now and some in later walkthroughs. For now, I would like to show you the My Work area. So as we already talked about, you have a lot of dashboards that help you see all of the data available to you. Inside activities, you have a list of all of the tasks that are assigned to you, as well as appointments, emails, and other things that you need to be taking care of. The HR requests overview shows you what requests have been sent to you by employees, everything that you need to take care of for them. You also have a list of employees available, a contact list for everyone inside of your solution, all of the employees, their job title, department, and contact information. Under announcements, you can announce any important company information, like a Christmas party or having new photos taken for them. And email messages are the same ones that you also see inside of your Outlook. So this is the daily My Work area. When you scroll down, you see time and attendance, leave and absence. If you're interested, feel free to watch our other walkthrough videos for these areas. We will have a closer look at the recruiting area today. And as I already showed you, this consists of the first part where you create job profiles and publish vacancies. Then you handle applications and hire applicants. And once you have hired somebody, you can also give them a structured onboarding. The talent search area is also something I will show you at a later point because it's very useful and may even help you to not have to hire somebody because you have already the perfect talent available inside your own organization. Now, after we had a look at the whole recruiting process, let's take a look at the sub-processes below. First, I would like to focus a bit on the publishing process. That is the first part where the HR manager requests an open position to be recruited, and the recruiter then starts to look for someone to fit that position. So the first step is to create a job profile based upon which they can conduct a search in the talent pool. And if the talent search does not yield any good results, they can create and publish a vacancy. Let me show you in the system what that part of the recruiting process looks like. So let's have a closer look at what the publishing process looks like inside the HR solution. I'm starting out in my dashboards area again, and I will go down to the recruiting area and show you the job profiles first. The job profiles are the standard description of any job your company may need. Any open position that needs to be hired should get its own job profile. For example, let's have a look at the account manager here. If I open this, you see things that are useful to know for your new position. You can define the professional level that you want the person to have for this position. You can define the job level. Already say for which department you are looking for a new candidate, if you are providing accommodation. If you want, you could also add something like the salary you are willing to pay, as well as details for the employment term. In the timeline, if you want, you can also add documents and other important information. On the right side, you can already assign skill levels to this job profile. This is an overview of the skills somebody needs to have for this job, as well as the level they should have inside that skill. You can add as many skill levels as you would like here. And below you also see that vacancies where this job profile is already published as a vacancy also show up here. Once you have filled all of the information you would like in your job profile, there's two possibilities. Either you go directly to vacancies and create a vacancy to publish your job profile, or you go to the talent search and see if maybe somebody you are looking for already is inside your company or has already been in touch with your company, but for example decided to remain in an applicant pool. Let me show you the talent search first, because this may save you from even having to publish a vacancy at any point. So if we go to the talent search, you can see that there are already some searches open. I will show you one of them. Let's say you are looking for an account manager, because that is the job profile we just had open. As you can see, the search criteria has been set to search applicants who agreed to remain inside a talent pool after they were not hired by your company, as well as searching your own employee base, but only those employees who have a minimum amount of 3 years of employment inside your company. A keyword search for the word project has also been added. Inside the search criteria, you can see that the required skills have automatically been taken from the job profile of the account manager that has been added here. So you didn't even have to add that search criteria here manually. It was just taken directly from the job profile. Also, it was decided to add a required education here for this job. In this case, a specific certificate. In the advanced section, it is also possible to apply a weighting to what is most important for you, which search criteria should be considered the most important. Looking at the search results, you can see that there were a number of results and they all got a score. This score is related to the search criteria and the weighting assigned in the advanced section. The more points an employee gets, the better of a fit they are according to the search criteria you put here. Now we can see that the employee Patricia Anderson is already a very good match for what you put here. So you can directly go to their file, look up the contact data, and contact them asking, hey, would you like to be our new account manager? We think you would be a great fit. And maybe she replies, yes, oh my gosh, I've been hoping to hear from you. And there you go. You will never have to publish a vacancy and already have your perfect fit hired simply based on the talent search. In case it does not go that well and the talent search doesn't give you any satisfying results, you can always publish a vacancy instead. To do so, we go to the vacancies area. And here you can just create a vacancy for what you would like to publish. So we already have one here for the account manager. Let me just show you this. You can fill a lot of information here that is needed. For example, how many people would you like to hire? What's the priority? Which department needs that employee? Would you like to enable a hiring team? If you would like to get feedback, for example, from a supervisor during the interview process or from a work council or anything, we will get to that in a bit more detail later on. And you can add a description. There's a lot of details you can add for the job ad, what the exact position is like, internal information, and what is required, as well as recruiting contact details. By the way, if you add an employee in here, pre-fill from employee, and you just link the employee's file, all of this information will be filled directly after you save. So you do not have to fill all those fields by yourself. It will just be taken from their file and you only have to fill that one line. You can also create a job advertisement here. And you can add text for what you are looking for, the job definition, qualifications, and so on. Inside Print Preview, you can see what your vacancy will look like after you filled all of the information in job advertisement. Inside here, you can see you have a number of possibilities to adjust this to look exactly the way you want with the font and size and all of the standard text editor options to make the print preview exactly the way you want it to look like. Once you have filled everything you would like, it's time to publish your vacancy. To do that, you just decide how you would like to publish it, internal or external or both. And then the only thing you need to do is go to this grid, select where you would like to put it, and select the publishing operation start. I'm not going to do that right now because it already has been published, but that's as easy as it is. You just click on that button, the publication starts, and then your job ad is out there, and that is all you need to do. So that saves you a lot of time for every connected recruiting channel in here, and you can always very easily publish every vacancy you would like to get out there. Now that you have a clearer understanding of what the publishing process looks like in our HR solution, let's next have a look at how to receive applications. You can easily parse CVs, review applications, and invite candidates with the HR solution. Once the applicant submits their application via the recruiting portal, for example, or via a job board connected to the system, the recruiter gets that application inside the HR solution. By clicking one button, they can parse any attached CV to get the data easily transferred to the system and screen the candidate to see if they are a good fit for the job. Let me show you what that looks like in the HR solution. Next, let's have a look at what it looks like if you want to process a new application in your HR solution. As you can see on the left-hand side, I am already inside of the area Applications, and I would like to take a look at the new application that I just got via the recruiting portal on our website. Nothing has been filled here yet manually. This is basically what it will look like when you get an application via the recruiting portal after an employee submitted it. The applicant will already have filled their contact data, which leads you to their documentation. I can just show you this really quickly. So this is what has already been filled so far. Just her name, last name, and some contact data. Not much else. And you already know which application they applied to. Going back. Here inside the application, already the vacancy is filled because, of course, they applied for this specific vacancy. The manager responsible for the vacancy is also already filled automatically, and you can see any documents that they attached to their application. You can also see that an automatic email has been sent out, which says, "Dear applicant, thank you for the application," and so on. So this is also a standard text provided to you. You can, of course, adjust this to your personal preferences inside of your company. But if you don't want to do anything there, you will already have a standard text that will be sent out to applicants after you receive their application. Now, what you can do is, for example, you can parse the CV that you just got. That is very easy. You just click on this one button, and as soon as you do, all of the information inside the CV, like contact data, birth date, whatever, will be filled inside of the applicant's file. That saves you a lot of time of manual clicking. If they sent a resume or something, you can at this point already fill some data like the earliest start date possible for them, maybe a notice period, or an expected salary per year. Once everything is filled, you can send the application to the next stage. Where you can check if all of the information you need is available. All of these are optional, of course. And at this point, we also recommend you make a first appraisal regarding if you think the employee will be a good match or not. Sending it on to the next stage, the application will now be sent to the line manager, entered here, for feedback, which means the person entered in this field will receive an email which asks them, hey, please have a look at this application with the link and give feedback on what you think. The line manager can then add feedback in this little field and send it on to the next stage. So giving feedback takes the line manager 2 minutes plus the time they take to actually look at the information inside of the application, and you get feedback straight away from them. There's also then the stages of first and second interviews, then contract negotiations, and if everything goes well, you can hire a new person. But we will have a look at that in the next section. Now that you have seen how CV parsing, receiving applications, and inviting candidates works, let's next have a look at how to hire a candidate. Let's say you've conducted all the interviews successfully and you are now looking to hire the person. You can, inside the HR solution, very easily create and send a signed offer and hire the candidate with an employment term. Let me show you what that looks like. Let us next have a look at the solution and see how to hire an applicant. Let's say all of the interviews went well and we are now entering the stage of contract negotiation. So inside contract negotiation, there's a couple of things that should be done, as you all know. So first, you will need employment terms upon which to base your negotiation. You will need to create those for the employee, but no worries, it's very quick. You just click here on New Employment Terms. You can see the applicant this is for is already filled from the application it came from. And here you select a template with the most important uh, parts of the contract. For example, it already tells you which work hours to use, which number of vacation days to use, and so on. You can select if it's a permanent or a limited contract, and the type, and the start date that you're working with. At this point, just save. It takes a moment to take all the data from the template to the employment term. And you can see that things like leave entitlements and so on are already taken from the template inside of this employment term, as well as some other information about the contract. You can also add a new wage here. She wanted to have a yearly amount, $46,000. So that's what we add here. And that is her pay for the job. If you put yearly payment, you will also need to select a payment month. Let's just put it to June, for example. Of course, it's also possible to do regular monthly, semi-monthly, bi-weekly, and so on payments for every type of wage that you can imagine. If you're interested in this, check out the walkthrough for the commissions and benefits management. Once we save and close, this new wage will be added inside the employment terms. After everything has been added, you save and close the employment term itself. And then you can very easily add here what you just created with just one click. At this point, you enter negotiations with your applicant. There may be some back and forth. Maybe they would like a different salary. Maybe they would like more vacation days. You know how it goes. So you negotiate with them until you reach an agreement. Once you have, you can set this to yes. If there's any other related tasks for hiring an applicant, any administrational stuff, you can also set this to yes once it's finished. And then you enter the final decision. What should happen with this applicant? If you just hire them, they are hired for the specific vacancy that they applied to. You can also hire them for another position. Maybe you can reject them because what they wanted in the negotiations was too much, or maybe they decline because the terms you give them are not suitable for them, or maybe you agree that they will not be hired, but they should remain in the applicant pool. And the applicant pool is the basis upon which the talent search is created, which we already talked about before. In this case, let's hire the applicant. And as soon as we click on Finish, they are transformed into an employee instead of an applicant. And then you have their file inside of your employees database, and you can start working with them. So that's how easy it is to hire an applicant. Now that you have an understanding of the most common processes inside the recruiting module, let me show you a different functionality. Many companies need to work with labor relations. For example, they would like to get an approval from a work council regarding an application or collect feedback from a line manager in whose department the new applicant is supposed to work in the future. Getting feedback from any other person is very easy via our HR solution. Let's say the HR manager wants to hire an applicant. They can easily share the application with the Works Council by just clicking on a button and request approval from the Work Council. The Work Council can see the application, approve or reject, and the HR manager immediately gets that feedback and can finish the recruiting process. This speeds up regular processes by quite a bit because sharing the application with the Works Council is just one click away, and the recruiting process can be finished immediately after the approval or rejection. So back and forth that can take days, weeks, or worst case months if you have to constantly ask or get paperwork to a work council is now done with just a few clicks in real time, and you can immediately get your feedback. Let me show you this inside the HR solution. Let me show you how to add a hiring team to an application. So the hiring team is added on the vacancy level, which is why I am in the vacancies area here on the left side. And the hiring team is very useful if you would like to collect info from, for example, a work council or from a supervisor during the interview process. Let's open one of our active vacancies. And if you want to add a hiring team or not is very quickly decided by just operating this slide button. In this case, we do have the hiring team enabled. And here in the center, you can see there's a table where you can add new hiring team members. If I click on this, I will get this quick create form on the right-hand side. And all I need to do here is add a team member. That can be any contact I have inside of my company. For example, there's already a specific person. And I can select which interview round they are supposed to participate in. They can be added to multiple ones or just to one of them, the way you want. When everything is added, let me quickly move myself here. You click Save and Close, and it's done. Now, this member is added to the first interview round. And you can also add a different person, for example, if you want a second one for the other interview round. And that's it. So it takes you maybe 5 seconds to add a hiring team member there. You can add as many members as you like. You can have them participate in both interview rounds or just in one, just the way you want. And how that works is when the application, which we already looked at, is in the specific stage. For example, here we have somebody in this round with a second interview. Once that interview is scheduled, the person from the hiring team is also notified that the second interview is going to take place. They can participate and they can also add comments in the application. So this is a huge help if you just want to have other people participate in the interview, in the application process. And it's all automated, so it's very easy for you to schedule this. Lastly, let's have a look at the onboarding process inside our recruiting and onboarding module. Once you have hired a new employee, you would like to train them well for their new job so that they are satisfied with their job and will stay inside your company. Our HR solution offers structured onboarding templates to ensure a smooth start for your new employee. For example, before starting to hire, the HR manager needs to define an onboarding template one time. This should cover all of the basic processes needed for onboarding inside your specific company, and it is highly customizable. Once you have that, you can roll it out for onboarding a new employee with just one click every time a new employee starts. And then automatically the supervisor of that employee will get tasks before and after the start of the employee, such as ensure that they are handed out keys to the place where they work, or that they get a new laptop, or after they start, make sure they get an office tour, or whatever is important in the onboarding inside of your specific company. Also, you can define an onboarding buddy for every new employee who will also get tasks before the start of the new employee so that they are aware a new employee will be starting and they are expected to show them around, introduce them to other people, and explain to them their most important tasks. You can also give tasks to other people, for example, an IT employee who is supposed to set up the work laptop for your new employee. Also, the HR manager can assign tasks after the start date to the employee. For example, attend this training, attend that training, read our guidelines, and so on. They can also check the completion of the tasks in the system to see if everything is going smoothly. At every step of the way, this offers a number of advantages for you and your company because the onboarding is structured well. Everybody knows what they have to do. We know if the tasks are completed or not, and the new employee is welcomed in a good way. Let me show you this in the system as well. As the last part of today's walkthrough, let me show you the onboarding and offboarding projects that you can also put inside the HR solution, because this is a very helpful and structured way to make sure that your onboarding and offboarding of employees goes smoothly. You can see on the left-hand side, I'm here inside the recruiting area in the onboarding. And you can see the current onboarding and offboarding projects of the company. So currently there are only onboardings going on, but offboardings would also be showing here. If you open one of them, you can see that there's already the information about the start and end date of the onboarding phase, when the employee is actually starting. So the onboarding project begins a little bit before the effective start date, because before they start, some things already have to be organized and set up. And the end date of the onboarding is a bit after their effective date. Also, the owner of the data record is already there. In this case, this is our HR manager, but you could also assign it, for example, to a direct supervisor or whoever should be responsible for the onboarding. Inside the tab Work Breakdown Structure, you can see the different phases of the onboarding. So there's one for before they start and one for after they start. This will each open a new window. And you can see here in that phase, after they start, there are already some tasks related to the onboarding. For example, there are scheduled trainings to perform, introduction to area of responsibility, and so on and so forth. All of these tasks are automatically created for the respective new employee by the onboarding template. So you will have to create a template just once for how you want onboarding projects inside of your company to go. And after that, every time a new employee starts, you can simply assign them this onboarding template, and all of the tasks with the correct date according to their effective date will be rolled out to the employees in question. If we have a look at the before start tasks, you can see there's also stuff beforehand, like set up desk and equipment, schedule training, and so on. And these tasks can be assigned to specific employees inside of your company. For example, create IT access could be assigned to an IT employee, and schedule training could be assigned to an HR employee, depending on how you want it to go. This ensures a smooth onboarding for all of your employees. And as an HR manager, you can already see the progress of these tasks inside of your activities list here under My Work, where we started out. These tasks will also show up there, so you will be able to see how far the employee is inside their onboarding and how things are going.